very easy for people. Otherwise, they're going to just come to a functional medicine doc, like me, and get a probiotic. What do they do?
Well, I would emphasize that the most important probiotic comes from fermented foods. So not just the yogurts, but kefirs, kombucha, veggies you ferment on your kitchen counter. On my kitchen counter, I have about 5 different jars filled with vegetables, and they've been there for weeks, some of them months, and they're delicious and they're filled with microbes. So that should take priority. It seems foreign to modern people, even though our great grandmothers would slap us because we're not eating fermented foods all the time. They did all the time. And, this is much more of a thing in Europe, of course, and in Asia. In the US, hardly anybody eats fermented foods. The invention of refrigeration that became affordable in 1927 in the US because of the invention of Freon as a refrigerant, everybody forgot that fermented foods were extremely powerful. So that's the most important. And some of the microbes that come from fermented foods, like Leuconostoc mesenteroides and Pediococcus pentasaceus, are extremely powerful. But then if you turn to a probiotic, given the inadequacies of current products, look for the ones that have the greatest numbers of species. If you know what the strain you're looking for, see if they contain the strains you're interested in for the effect you want. Make sure it has at least some of the keystone species. Now, this gets a little complicated, but Lactobacillus reuteri is a keystone species. Lactobacillus gasseri is a keystone species. I like to include a fungus, Saccharomyces boulardii, but that, we all here, my following, we make sparkling cider or juices with the Saccharomyces boulardii. Okay. You can buy it as a probiotic. In the US, it's called Florastor. It's called something different in South Africa. I can't remember what it's called, but it's widely available for a few dollars. Take a capsule, empty it into apple cider or other juice. Just make sure there's no preservatives like potassium sorbate in it, and cap it lightly because it's going to produce so much carbon dioxide that if you cap it tightly, it'll explode. So cap it loosely, and within 24 hours, keep it on your counter, room temperature. You're going to start seeing it bubble. It's a vigorous fermentation, and then refrigerate it at about 48 to 72 hours to stop fermentation. And you're going to have sparkling, effervescent cider or juice filled with high counts of Saccharomyces boulardii. It's delicious. You can even make a martini out of it because it's tolerant to alcohol. But it's a really easy way. I'm all about saving people money. So you can buy a probiotic, you can ferment it as yogurt or other food, and you don't have to buy it again. You can use your fermented food as the source for all those microbes. Now, as you point out, if you're fermenting, let's say 20 species, your 10th batch in, because you make subsequent batches from a little bit of the prior batch. You don't have to keep on re-inoculating.